Hi, I'm Irving, and I have no life, just like you.
The Ballad of Irving. Irving. Big fat Irving. Big sport Irving. The 142nd fastest gun in the West.
It was a sad day for me when the Call of Duty franchise moved away from the World War II games and into the modern warfare and other areas that they're still focusing on today. Still, this is Call of Duty, so I figured I might as well see what the next phase of its evolution was going to be like. We start playing as Soap. We're doing that already? Okay, I'll play. No. Oh, boo-hoo. Soap is your character's name. Before you ask, I don't know why. And I'm not the only one.
What the hell kind of name is Soap, eh?
We do a basic tutorial and then run a course that's supposed to determine what difficulty mode we play in. Naturally, this is a new generation game, so we can't just call them names like easy and hard. No, we have to go with recruit, regular, hardened, and veteran. Because more syllables solves everything. After that, we get dropped onto a cargo ship to stop some guy from getting nuclear capability. The team's pretty useful at this point.
Roger that. Tango down. Target neutralized.
Not bad for a start. It's always nice when your team can hit the enemy.
It's on the second floor. Copy. Engaging.
That works too. As we battled our way into the ship, I tried out some flanking techniques that I learned from Brothers in Arms.
Tango down. Report.
You reach the bomb, I guess, or at least the radioactive makings of one, and report in that you're ready to load it up and go.
No time, Bravo 6. 2 bogeys headed your way fast. Grab what you can and get the hell out of there.
Okay, that was weird. So you have to grab the manifest and you start heading for extraction.
The ship's sinking! We've got to go!
What happened? Best I can tell, the enemy planes decided the best thing to do was blow up the ship? Okay then. So now it's a race out of there, but of course you make it. Except if you do that. Well, hey, why do it right when you can do it again? And which way is the right way anyway? That's always been a problem with the direction finders in the Call of Duty games, because the way they point is so vague that sometimes you can't tell if it's in front of you or behind you. This one is no different. If you don't want to go with a great big arrow like Bioshock or some other kind of indicator that you're getting close like the compasses in the Medal of Honor games, then come up with something else. This is a little confusing.
Jump for it!
Gotcha! We're all aboard! Go!
Good thing his hands weren't covered in soap. Yeah, you're just jealous because you didn't think of it first. Roll the opening credits, and while that's happening, I got an achievement back there that I didn't have a chance to look at. It was called No Rest for the Weary. What's that all about? So I get an achievement for being a murderous butthole. Is it just me, or does it seem like the quality of achievements has taken a nosedive in recent years? Now we move on to someplace in the Middle East where a certain president is having a really bad day. Those guys just kidnapped you. You're now the president of this country, and some guy is screaming in Arabic about why they want you to stop being their president. Is it just me, or does he sound a lot like that street preacher in Assassin's Creed? So these guys are revolting against your administration and want you to step down. They also want you to stop breathing. I can't help wondering why we saw all that from the president's perspective. Now, I can appreciate a good point of view sequence as much as the next guy, but that was just weird. We see ourselves getting knocked out, tied up, and shot. This is a fun game! I don't get it. Anyway, suddenly we're Soap again, and we have to go into this area and rescue a spy for our side before he gets the same treatment. We make our way to where an informant is waiting, and he's supposed to lead us to where our informant Nikolai is being held. But he and Captain Price seem to have a history.
What's the target, Kamarov? We've got an informant to recover.
The M21's on the other side of the hill. The rockets have killed hundreds of civilians in the valley below.
Not so fast. Remember Beirut? You're with us.
I guess I owe you one.
Bloody right you do.
That's a little tidbit that's never followed up on, so it's meaningless. You go up a hill and see where your friend's men are assaulting some enemy rocket positions. You use your sniper rifle to give them some cover. Oh, by the way, you have a sniper rifle. You might not have known that if you didn't switch weapons at the start of the level to see what you had, and the game sure isn't going to tell you. Anyway, you keep sniping from various places and fight your way to where Nikolai is. From there, it's just a matter of getting everybody out in one piece. Nikolai has some information.
Have the Americans already attacked Al-Assad?
No, their invasion begins in a few hours. Why?
The Americans are making mistake. They will never take Al-Assad alive.
And suddenly you're an American soldier. Well, at least your name isn't hand lotion or something like that. What's all the giggling about? You're part of the American assault team that Nikolai was just talking about. You've gotten word that Al-Assad is in a particular building, but he isn't. He's broadcasting from a station nearby. If you haven't done a Call of Duty game before, welcome to shooter action the way it should be. If you have done Call of Duty before, this should look delightfully familiar. These guys are the masters of controlled chaos, and you can't help but love it. You fight a ton of bad guys in this broadcasting room, and it's easily the biggest firefight you've had so far. They're up on the second level, they're coming out of side rooms. These guys are all over the place.
They're black. They're round. They're out. They're down. They're in. They're out. They're all about. They're far. They're near. They're gone. They're here.
When that's done, you move upstairs to find Al-Assad. You fight a big wave of bad guys from this roof, then it's time to... Hey, where is everybody? What's going on here? There's nowhere they could have gone. Did they go back inside? I'll have to see. Wait, there they are. What the... And why wasn't I issued an invisibility cloak too? I know I'm the new guy, but really? Not cool, guys. It turns out they were across the roof, behind that big dish, so I couldn't see them. I'd rather call it a game glitch, because I come out looking less dumb.
Do it.
Eventually, you get the last one and bust into the room where Al-Assad is making some kind of rousing speech, and he's not there. It's a recording. Pardon me, but duh! How stupid do you think this guy is? You've got a kabillion helicopters shooting up the city, guys fast roping down all over town, and you really believe he's gonna sit there in a television studio ranting like an idiot? What is the matter with these people? I find it hard to believe that the United States military would so underestimate an enemy who not only just seized power by force, but had the president executed on live TV. My suspension of disbelief just took a really hard hit.
Alpha Company's tank is stuck half a click north of here. We gotta hustle. Let's go!
Oh, goody, babysitting. Just what I want in a game. Step 1, get there. Does that mean if I hadn't done that, he would have lost? Excuse me, Lieutenant, but what kind of pantywaist are you teaming me up with here? Well, there's not much I can do about it right now, so let's just keep moving. Naturally, it's a giganimous firefight for the next few minutes. Step 1, of course, is get to the tank. To do that, you have to get past all the bad guys in the known universe plus 2 tanks. Fortunately, you have exactly what you need, a javelin. That's what he said.
Jackson, pick up the javelin so you can take out those tanks.
Do you really think a spear's gonna be enough to take out a tank?
Jackson, pick up the javelin now.
Hit those vehicles at the far end of the bridge.
Oh, that's a javelin! Why didn't you say so? Now you have to get up to the second floor, of which building you have to guess, and use the javelin to take out those tanks.
vehicles at the far end of the bridge! Hurry!
So it goes whoosh, pew, up, kaboom. Why? You have to get a solid target lock before you can even fire it, so why doesn't it just zoom in on the target and hit it in a straight line? Why does it have to make like a skyrocket? I knew that was coming, and come all the way back down before it does anything. I mean, it looks impressive, but is that really the most practical way to do this? If there's one thing the U.S. military is good at, it's finding the most practical ways possible to kill people. I don't think this is it. It really is fun to watch, though. Then you reach the tank and wish you still had the javelin. One thing I need to mention, and it's consistent across all three of the modern warfare games. When you shoot a bad guy, make sure he stays down. They frequently don't, and one of the more fair things that the game does is their health works exactly like yours does. If they're not completely down, they'll be incapacitated for a while, but if they're left alone, they'll recover, get back up, and keep fighting. So it's usually a good idea to take that extra second to make sure. You clear out a building, but the other one is too much for you. So first you take out an anti-aircraft emplacement, then you have to plant a beacon and call in air support. I suppose I could keep trying to pick these guys off, but there's really no reason to. This might as well be a cutscene because there's nothing for you to do except sit back and watch the helicopters blow that building into a pile of pebbles.
You see anyone left down there? Negative. We got them.
Then we regroup at the tank, where the lieutenant gives us our next assignment.
Listen up. We don't have much time to get this tank out of here. We'll take up defensive positions around the fog, here, and here, and buy the engineers some time to get the tank moving. Hoorah!
So that means another firefight's coming, right? And we have to defend the engineers who are fixing the tank. Okay, let's do it. Huh? That's it? Well, that wasn't very nice. Wait, maybe it's a separate mission. Ah, soap, we're crap again.
Strike that. Reverse it.
We're still trying to get out of Dodge while we dodge a helicopter with a searchlight. Eventually, we get spotted and the fight begins. You have to evade the helicopter's fire while dealing with the ground troops. Along the way, you have to do this. It's disturbing and a little unsettling, at least it was for me. I show it so you can make up your own mind what you think of it. Whatever you think of it, you'll have to do it more than once in all three games. So if it really bothers you, brace yourself. I've had dogs literally since the day I was born. I can't be without one. I understand what's going on here, but I don't like it. Speaking only for myself, the games would be a lot more fun if I didn't have to shoot dogs. Okay? Okay. Eventually, you make your way to a shed where there's some Stinger missiles. I haven't used a Stinger before. How does it work? Okay, it locks onto a heat source, and when it squeals like wet brakes, it's ready to fire. But it can be fooled. Let's try that again. Much better. But that's not the end of our problems. We have some armor to deal with. Fortunately, we also have air support all of a sudden.
Bravo 6 will cover you all the way to the extraction zone. You better get moving.
Roger that, Warhammer.
Wow,
We're
that was
moving
impressive.
now. Out.
And he says they'll stay with us all the way to the extraction point. With these guys covering our butts, we shouldn't need to do much fighting. Obviously not. We're fading out. So, we've already got to the extraction point. What? And without warning, we are that air cover. Now we get to blast bad guys from above with some massive cannons and miniguns. This game is all over the place. It's not unusual for a Call of Duty game to have you play as several different characters, but usually you have a little time to get to know yourself. Not today. We're switching characters so often I'm having trouble keeping them straight. Having said that, this is definitely Call of Duty. The action is fast, hard, and furious, and at times it'll irritate the hell out of you. But this stuff is habit forming. There's a reason these games keep coming and keep selling so well. Let's get back to it.
Personnel coming out of the church. We have armed personnel approaching from the church. Request permission to
The
engage.
quiet is almost haunting. We saw what it's like on the ground, and up here it's just eerie. Your shots are so quiet, and all you hear is the techs talking to each other and trying to tell you where the bad guys are so you can blow them up.
Yeah, take him out. Yeah, good kill. I see lots of little pieces down there. Clean up that signal. Target reset. Set scan range. Heads up. Hostile forces are setting up ambush points along the curved road.
Curved road. Which is the curved road?
Track those smoke trails and take them out at the source. Clear a path for our guys.
Personnel on the roof of that U-shaped building.
U-shaped building?
And trying to sort out what building they're talking about.
With the flat roof. Kaboom. You got him. Rolling in. Damn. Enemies crossing the field.
Enemies crossing the field. Which field? There's a dozen of them in my range of sight. It's boring. Things are hard to identify. Thankfully, it doesn't last too long. Then you're back to being Jackson, the American, and you're continuing through the city. There's a bit of good news for you. The tank is all fixed and it's moving with you and helping clear the way. Ever wonder what really sets the Call of Duty franchise apart? Here it is. I died something like 8 times trying to get past this. I finally got it done by doing this. It would have been nice to know that's what I needed to do. From there it's basic mop-up, though they do try to bring in a tank. Can our tank deal with it?
Taking the shot.
I'll take that as a yes. Then we get to the helicopter, where we learn that Intel has a possible location on Al-Assad. But there's a bit of a problem.
Al-Assad in the capital city. 1st Battalion is en route. Intel gathered by SAS indicates that Al-Assad may have a Russian warhead.
Command? I don't know how you do it back there, but out here, when we know there's a nuke in the area, we like to go the other way. But that's not in the job description, so we're supposed to go find it and secure it so the smart guys can figure out how to disarm it. Yeah, that's all. At the moment, you're operating a mounted RPG in the helicopter. Half your team sets down, then you move on because you have a fire team that's pinned down and your job is to rescue them and get them to an extraction zone. The pattern is pretty much the same as before. You can stand there all day and hold off waves of enemies, but you can't move forward until you go in and clear out a certain building. Again, nice to know. You reach your chopper, and then the complications start. So it's time to go rescue the pilot. This is a timed mission. You have 90 seconds to get her out of there and get back to the chopper. Command tells you that you won't be out of range of the nuke if you do, but you go get her anyway.
Arm, I repeat. Everyone hang on!
The maniac did it. He detonated the nuke. Well, I guess we're dead. Huh? He's still alive? I mean, I'm still alive? Well, let's see. Okay, so we're crawling very slowly, trying to get out of the wreckage. Then what? I don't know, I guess we'll find out. Man, look at the devastation. So rather than risk losing his rule over these people, this guy blew them all up. The people who survived might want to reconsider their support for him.
Contamination centers are being established at this time and will be operational within 2 hours. Personnel are there. I am... Personnel with 3 elevated levels are advised...
There's another of my guys. He looks dead, but I may as well go see. And now I can't move. What was the point of that? I think getting caught close to ground zero in a nuclear explosion gives a pretty good indication that the character is toast. Why did we have to go through all that crawling and all that crap? It doesn't make sense. All it did was slow the game down and prolong the depression. I don't get it. Anyway, once you've made sure your Jackson character is good and dead, you're soap again. Nikolai refuses to believe that this was a suicide act by Al-Assad. He says the man's too big a coward to do something like that. Fortunately, Nikolai also knows of a hideout that Al-Assad has in Azerbaijan. So that's where we're headed next. Funeral services for Sergeant Jackson will just have to wait, I guess.
Yeah, good kill. I see lots of little pieces down there.
Okay, that was in bad taste. Sorry. I'll wash my mouth out with soap. Or at least I'll play soap again. We go through this village, building by building, searching for Al-Assad. We finally find him in some kind of barn complex that's heavily guarded. When you catch up to Al-Assad, Captain Price has a few words with him.
I want his name.
Obviously, he went to the Sam Fisher School of Interrogation. Just then, Al-Assad's cell phone rings. Soap answers it and hands it to the captain. And now it's flashback time. It's 15 years previously, and we're a much younger Price, just a lieutenant as he puts it, on a mission in Chernobyl. Yes, that Chernobyl. Our target is that guy who just called, one Imran Zakayev by name. He's making deals for some of the radioactive materials there, and the idea is to stop him, permanently. For this one, we have ghillie suits, plus we have sniper rifles with silencers on them. This should be interesting. We make our way through fields and junkyards and who knows what else, dealing with patrols along the way.
Take him out quietly, or just let him pass. Your call. Okay. Target approaching from the north. Take him out quietly, or just let him pass. Your call. Tango down. Go.
No, I'm not inclined to let them go by. This is a Call of Duty game. Shoot everybody. Except you can't do that here.
Easy, lad. There's too many of them. Let them go. Keep a low profile and hold your fire.
So we just lay still in our ghillie suits and let them pass, praying one of them doesn't step on us.
Fuck it! Our cover's full!
Kinda like that. Thing is, if you get discovered here, you may as well just hit your button and start over because there is no way to survive this. I thought, okay, I'll sneak around the end of their line where they won't detect me.
They're onto us. Open fire.
My actions? I didn't do anything. And there was nobody near me. Well, crap, let's try something else. There's all these bushes back here. How about if I go and hide in them?
We're spotted. Take cover.
Seriously? I was completely invisible, and not only did they detect me, they were shooting me perfectly through those bushes. It's pretty easy to see what's going on here. It's just like clearing that one building out earlier. Basically, there's one right way to do this and no other. Do you get any kind of indication of what that might be? Of course not. One time I took my cue from the captain and just stayed right on him.
We're spotted. Take cover.
Nope, that ain't it. I'm starting to think this can't be done. At last I huddled right next to one of the tanks as it went by and sort of scooched sideways now and then to dodge the foot soldiers, and I got past it. But this was not fun. Basically, these guys discover you if you're not in the magic spot and you have no way of knowing where that is. My suspension of disbelief just took another hit. It's annoying. Almost as annoying as this. Eventually, you get to the right spot and settle in to wait for the transaction. Well, at least they didn't make me play sitting around for 2 days. For this, you're using a massive 50 caliber mounted sniper rifle. The captain gives you all the gibberish about wind speed and direction and all that.
Remember what I taught you. Keep in mind variable humidity and wind speed along the bullet's flight path. At this distance, you'll also have to take the Coriolis effect into account.
Right, whatever that is. So you take the shot.
It's now or never. Take the shot! Target is down. Nice shot, Lieutenant.
Funny thing, I've done that shot probably half a dozen times just to test my theory. I've aimed here. I've aimed here. I've aimed here. Once I even aimed here. That wind must be doing some really weird stuff because no matter where I aim, it blows his left arm off. Maybe the bullet's magnetic and he had a plate in there or something. Or maybe it's just lazy programming. Take your pick. Now we're off to extraction.
Bloody hell, I can't move!
So now, on top of everything else, you have to carry him. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of wild dogs running around ready to rip your throat out, too. And you can't do anything while you're carrying Captain Macmillan. If you need to fight, put him down first. If you need to fart, put him down first. If you need to pick your nose, put him down first. If you need to pick his nose, put him down first. So you pick him up, put him down, pick him up, put him down, until you get to the extraction point, which is, of course, a Ferris wheel. This part of the level is timed, by the way, but it really doesn't matter because you have to be a lot worse at this stuff even than I am for time to run out. I've always finished with at least 5 minutes left. This time I finished with over 11. Why the timer, I'm not sure. It adds precisely nothing to the game or the story. You know you're going to have plenty of time, especially since some enemies really aren't all that bright. You saw that, right? He threw a grenade at us, and when we moved away, he came after us and ran right over the top of it. Like I said. The captain tells you to put him down on the north side of the wheel where he can cover you.
Bit farther to the north.
Like that?
Move me a bit farther to the north. A bit farther to the north so I can get a clear shot. Check your compass for the best location.
In the glowing grass, of course. How silly of me not to know that. One bit of weirdness here is I'm not entirely sure who these bad guys are. Russians? Terrorists? Jehovah's Witnesses? They don't tell us. We have no idea who the bald guy was working for or who he was selling to. But in good game fashion, everybody hates us. I suppose that's all that matters. You hauled off wave after wave, then the helicopter lands, whereupon you have to grab the captain and run like a maniac. And why can't I go inside? The guy I'm carrying is hurt, I'm in pretty bad shape myself, and I have an invisible wall. We have to get shot up some more before we can take off, I guess. The bad guys shoot enough holes in the invisible wall to let us get through, and off we go. Back in the present day, your captain definitely remembers Zakhaev. There's no doubt he's the one who detonated that nuke. We call for extraction, but the area is too hot. We then have to make our way back to our starting point for extraction. At least once in a while you can call in an airstrike to help you along. So I finally made it to the bottom of the hill where the chopper was. What? My team's already there? How'd they get there? They were clear back at the top of the hill when I started down, and I had to fight off all those Russians by myself, and I get down here and they're already at the chopper? That happens a lot in this game. If you're not watching your men every fraction of every second, they'll disappear and show up again at your objective. I don't know what's going on, but it is annoying. If we're supposed to be a squad, we should stay together. That means when I'm running down the hill, they're running down the hill with me. They're not teleporting and leaving me to do all the hard work. Another blow to suspension of disbelief. As the helicopter takes off, Price gets an idea for how to find Zakhaev. He has a son who's just as worthless and corrupt as he is, so let's go get the kid and make him lead us to dear old Dad. That's our next mission. We move into the right area, take out some guards, and then get ready to capture the kid.
Alright, let's get this place sorted out. Change into the enemy uniforms and douse the fire.
I'm in camouflage.
You attack a convoy of his trucks and he makes a run for it.
He's long gone. We lost him. Abort the mission.
Where? I never saw a thing, and this stupid game refuses to give me any kind of directions.
This guy's really hauling ass. Don't let him get away.
Not helping.
Okay, he's leaving the junkyard to the northwest.
Still not helping. Where? Naturally, I can't follow my partner because he's teleporting everywhere while I do all the heavy lifting. This is really getting irritating. Well, naturally, the chase takes you all through town. You have to deal with a zillion enemy soldiers, but eventually you catch up with him.
You got nowhere to run!
Well, crap, that didn't go as planned. So now what? Captain Price says he knows Zakhaev won't let his son's death go unanswered, and that's apparently an understatement. Zakhaev is issuing an ultimatum to the entire world.
All US and British forces will leave Russia immediately, or suffer the consequences.
It's quite simple. Either we retake the launch facility or we won't recognize the world tomorrow.
So we still need to go stop him. Well, no time like the present.
Then let's go get him.
First, one of our men's been captured. How that happened is anybody's guess. But we have to go rescue him. This house-to-house, room-to-room fighting can get pretty intense, and it's easy to get caught up in it.
All clear.
Oops.
Hey, watch it, son.
From there, we head over to kill the power to this missile base, at least long enough for one of our other teams to break in. But before we move on, I just have to show you this. Kill an enemy while blinded by a flashbang. That was more like I got him just as he blinded me with it, but hey, I'll take it. Further on, we meet up with some American snipers who offer to give us cover while we're moving in to take the control room.
We'll give you sniper cover once you're inside the perimeter.
We got a problem here. Delta 1 X-ray, we have a missile launch. I repeat, we have a missile. There's another one. Delta 1 X-ray, we have 2 missiles in the air. Over.
That's not good. Your captain reports in about the launches, and we're told they're trying to get the abort codes from the Russians. Meanwhile, we're supposed to keep moving and take the base. The missiles are someone else's problem. About 41 million someone else's from the looks of that. Let's go see if we can help. Okay, we fight our way onto the base where we meet a couple of tanks. Excuse me, BMPs. I'm guessing that stands for Bad Mother Puckers. You heard me. Now we guard the area while our engineers cut through some grating so we can get inside.
Now. Team 2, going now.
You battle your way to the control room, during which time Command sends you, Soap, the abort codes. You have a timed battle to get to the right console, but like the other one, it gives you way more time than you need. This one is timed for 15 minutes, but even a klutz like me finished it with 6 minutes to spare.
We got 6 minutes left. Stand by for confirmation. Stand by. Stand by. Bravo 6, all warheads have been confirmed destroyed in flight.
I would love for somebody to explain to me why they entrusted the abort codes that save the entire eastern seaboard of the United States to a sergeant instead of one of the officers. I wasn't in the Army very long, but even I know that's not how this would be done. Another blow to suspension of disbelief.
Sir, check the security feed. It's the can. He's taking off.
Captain Price, this is Gaz at the security station. They came in by trucks. I'm thinking we can use all of these to get the hell out of here. I'm sending you the coordinates to the vehicle depot.
He's bugging out, and you have a bunch of soldiers bugging in. So it's a race to get out of there before every terrorist in the area descends on you and does very unkind things to you. You ride an elevator to the surface and then take over a motor pool. Hop in some trucks and you're out of there. This is Call of Duty. We have all the main elements. Intense action, so much happening you can't tell what's going on, the adrenaline pumping like a Texas gusher, and even the one guy who talks too damn much.
Pick up an RPG and fire on that hind.
Got it. I'm trying.
Pick up an RPG and fire on that hind.
I'm already holding one, meathead. Did you see this big mean-looking thing in my hands? Huh? I'm trying! But guess what? You're not supposed to be able to hit the helicopter. Why? Because it does this.
The hind's bugging off!
Okay, so we were just supposed to scare him away?
Shit, he's about to take out that bridge! Stop the bloody truck!
No, he circled around and blew up the bridge we needed to cross. And this wrecked bridge is crucial to the story. So if you'd shot down that helicopter, you would have screwed the whole thing up. Duh! You know, it might have been nice to know that before I tried so hard. Next time, I'll ignore the guy screaming and just crouch down and cover my own ass. They won't tell you this either, but you're on a timer again. If you don't make this crawl in just the right direction within a certain few seconds, it falls out from under you and you're dead. Don't ask how I know that. So now it's Battle Royale time because a whole bunch of bad guys have come from somewhere.
This is Sergeant Cameron. I understand you and your men could use some help. Stand by. We are almost there. 88 minutes. Cameron out.
The objective says survive and escape, but that's not what's happening here. We're in pretty much of a stalemate until this happens. so we're down and dazed. What about the others? I think that was Gaz, but it might have been Griggs. He just died trying to drag you to cover. What about the captain? He doesn't look too good. We get a radio message that a Russian friend of ours named Kamarov is on the way, so if we can hold out a little longer, we can survive. But that doesn't seem likely because here comes Zakhaev. Kamarov shows up and shoots Zakhaev's air support down, and that distracts him and his guards just long enough. I have to admit, that was gratifying. So now what? This is interesting. Not.
You are going to be alright, my friend.
Okay, I made it. How about Captain Price? Oh, man. Well, I hope he lived long enough to see me finish Zakhaev. He deserved that, at least. So, take us away and roll the credits.
The government released a statement today confirming a series of nuclear missile tests in central Russia.
Okay.
Although world leaders were quick to denounce the action, Russian officials maintain that the missile tests fell well within established UN protocols.
Right.
No comment was received from the ultra-nationalist party, where rumors of a possible leadership struggle have just begun to surface.
Uh-huh.
In other news, the search for a ship lost in the Bering Strait due to a major storm has been called off.
The credits are interesting all by themselves. First, we get a bit of this.
Clear to engage all of those. Copy. Smoke them. Cabo.
Then, unfortunately, we get this.
In the mind and time, you'll find my lines combine and twine, underline, rhyme divine. No hine, you go against me. 249, lift you swiftly. Front lines in it with me. Think I'm lying? Come and get me. Hot Sergeant Briggs reporting for duty.
Roger.
Some say this belong in the movie, but this the third installment. Infinity Ward shit. Don't soil your drawers, cause it's deep in his heart, bitch.
Really? Whatever. Just get me back to the main menu. Hold on, what's this? This is a cool little mini game that comes after the credits. I don't know if there's any other way to access it, I haven't looked. It's a little quickie mission on a plane rescuing a VIP from some terrorists while racing against the clock. It was really cool and fun until the very end when it did one of the things I hate most in the world from a shooter game. I can get a lot better accuracy with that assault rifle I was using. Why all of a sudden am I stuck with a general issue pistol? Call of Duty likes to do this. We've seen it before and we'll see it again, and it pisses me off. Even worse, you have roughly 3 seconds to take out the terrorist without hitting the hostage, but every time you find an opening and pull the trigger, the idiot hostage squirms that way and you end up hitting him. Or her. Or it. We don't actually know. Anyway, you end up hitting the hostage. You can't maneuver because any movement you're doing is in slow motion. That also pisses me off. There's no in-story reason for it. At the end of the main game, when you'd been blasted off your feet by a couple of missiles and were probably lying there bleeding out, this kind of thing makes sense. But here it's crap. It's nonsense. The destruction of my suspension of disbelief is complete. I did manage to win, of course. Here's what I did. Shoot him in the legs and feet as he squirms, moving a snail-like motion to the side and take him down. Objective complete. Once that's done, you get this message. I've unlocked arcade mode and cheats. I might look at arcade mode somewhere along the line, but unless something gets absolutely freaking impossible like it did in Half-Life 2, I don't really care about the cheats. Your mileage may vary, and that's okay. This game has a lot to commend it. The variety of weapons is almost confusing, and seeing what each one can do is a study in itself. Play with it. The early part of the game can also get confusing since your character changes so quickly and you find yourself in so many diverse situations so close together. But after the explosion, things settle down and you get a chance to get to know Captain Price and care about him. You can't say the same for your own character. All you know about him is he's called Soap and he's a sergeant who does what he's told. I found myself caring a lot more about the captain than I did about my own guy because I knew more about him. That's just weird. It also has its irritations. The compass sucks. More than once I found myself following the marker only to realize that I was going the wrong way. I have no idea how that happens. Well, you say, it has a distance indicator that tells you if you're getting closer or further away. Yeah, have you tried reading that thing? The print is so small I don't think my cat could read it when he had his nose up against the screen. Right. Anyway, the only way I'd be able to read that is if I had a TV the size of the space shuttle. Another problem is the dialogue, because especially when you're supposed to do a particular task, these guys just keep yammering and yammering and yammering. They try to tell you there's enemies to the southwest or whatever, and when you look that way, there's nothing. Look straight south, and there they are, while your guys are still hollering about enemies to the southwest and saying it over and over. It makes me want to shoot my own guys, but too bad. I ran into a couple of visual fractures and one or two other glitches, but nothing major. All in all, this is a good successor to the World War II franchise. It has all the distinctive features of Call of Duty, it's timely, the graphics are outstanding, and it plays fair. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next one brings to the table. Until then, I'm Irving, and I have no life, just like you.
Well, finally, Irving got 3 slugs in the belly. It was right outside the Frontier Deli. He was sitting there twirling his gun around, and Butterfingers Irving gunned himself down. Irving. Big fat Irving. Big dum-dum Irving. Big dum-dum dead Irving. The 142nd fastest gun in the West. Really?
At least long enough for one of our other teams to breach the perimeter of the At least long enough for one of our other teams to breach the perimeter. At least long enough for one of our other teams to break in.